Hello, my story lovers! Welcome back to my channel! Now, I bet you're thinking, wait a minute, I don't recognize this face. But no worries, the same feeling comes to me when I look in the mirror. However, the main reason for not recognizing me would be. Actually, this is the first video I've ever made. But fear not, many videos are yet to come, and you will get used to me in no time. And now, I'm going to tell you one of my favorite stories, Red Riding Hood. Hope you enjoy it, but first, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. Thanks a million! Once upon a time, there was a lovely little girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. Everyone loved her, almost everyone. And she loved everyone, almost everyone. But she loved her grandma the most, who lived alone in the middle of the forest. This little girl always wore a red velvet hat, and that's why she was called Purple Riding Hood. Oh, I mean Red Riding Hood. One day, her grandma fell ill, so Red Riding Hood decided to bake a big cake for her. However, she was not good at baking, and she ended up burning the cake. In the blink of an eye, the house was filled with smoke. After cleaning up, she decided to buy a cake instead of risking burning down the whole house by attempting to bake one. How thoughtful of her! She ordered a big cake online, and within a few minutes, the doorbell rang. Excited to receive the cake so soon, she opened the door. But it wasn't the delivery guy. Instead, there was a big bad wolf asking for the direction to Grandma's cottage in the middle of the forest. She remembered her mom always forbade her from giving addresses to strangers. So she shut the door in the face of the wolf.
Ouch.
A few minutes later, the doorbell rang again. She opened the door and saw a long queue of various types of animals. Spreading the news about the big cake, these animals had the same question about the location of her grandma's cottage. Red Riding Hood shut the door hurriedly, switched the lights off, pretending no one's home. But a few seconds later, the doorbell rang again. She got angry, but when she opened the door, she saw the delivery guy drop the cake and run away. She also noticed the animals left the place, beaten and wounded, as if they all had been convinced by the big bad wolf that it was he who came first and had the right to pursue. Some minutes later, Red Riding Hood was ready to leave. She put the cake in a basket, and just before stepping out, the phone rang. Hello? Who is this? Oh, wrong number. She said to herself that nothing could stop or delay her anymore. But as she was stepping out, her cell phone rang. It was Red Riding Hood's mom telling her not to go off the path. Okay, Mom, said Red Riding Hood and left the house. On her way to Grandma's cottage, first she noticed a grizzly bear who was asking her to go off the path to see an itsy-bitsy lizard playing golf, and offered to hold her basket since it looked heavy. But remembering her mom's advice, she ignored the bear. A little further down the road, she saw a red fox asking her to join him to play hide and seek in the forest and leave her basket under a tree. But she pretended not to notice him and stayed on the path. After that, she saw a cute baby hippo who requested her help to scratch his back since he couldn't reach it, and asked her to leave the basket with him so that she could scratch his back with both of her hands. However, she ignored his request as well, passed him, and continued along the path. Then there was the big bad wolf blocking the road, pretending he was lost and hungry. Red Riding Hood stopped, felt sorry for the wolf, gave him a kiss on the cheek, and kept going her way. The wolf got angry, but controlled himself and asked very softly, "Where are you going in such a hurry, you little Purple Riding Hood?" "Red. It's red. Red Riding Hood. Why can't you men distinguish colors? By the way, I'm going to my grandma's cottage, number 10, near the biggest oak tree, located in the middle of the forest," replied Red Riding Hood, without knowing that she had given the exact destination. "I can see you are in a rush, so take the shortcut and go off the path to the right, then to the left, then left again, and you will get there 1 minute sooner," said the wolf. "Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Big Bad Wolf," she replied, and took the direction given by the wolf. The wolf's eyes lit up with delight, and his tail wagged eagerly as he made his way to the heart of the forest, arriving there before the arrival of Red Riding Hood. The wolf didn't have much time, so he entered the cottage immediately. "I have a big family, but no place to live," said the wolf, and just before Grandma had a chance to react, the wolf kicked her out of the cottage. The wolf put on Grandma's nightgown, put on her nightcap, and jumped onto the bed. So, why is he still naked? Seconds later, Little Red Riding Hood opened the door, stepped in, and said, "Hello, Grandma." "Hello, darling," said the wolf. In the bed lay Grandma, but she looked strange with her sleeping cap over her face. "Oh, Grandma," she said, "what big ears you have!" "The better to hear you with, my child," was the reply. "But, Grandma, what big eyes you have," she said. "The better to see you with, my dear." "But, Grandma, what big hands you have." "The better to hug you with." "But, Grandma, what big claws, what big feet, what big eyebrows, what big earrings, and what a big tail you have." The wolf was very impatient. "You talk too much. Leave the basket on the table and go back home before it gets dark. There might be some dangerous grizzly bears, cunning red foxes, or even gluttonous baby hippos on the way back home who think you might have something delicious to eat with you," the wolf said. Red Riding Hood put the basket on the table and went out sadly. As she closed the door, The wolf jumped out of the bed straight to the basket, but there was only a half-eaten piece of cake left in the basket. "She must have been hungry all the way here," he shouted angrily. Meanwhile, as Red Riding Hood stepped out of the cottage and closed the door, she ran into her grandma. "I put the basket on the table, Grandma, as you wanted," she said sadly. "Huh? What on earth?" All of a sudden, the door was broken, and Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma were on the wolf, jumping up and down, pulling his ears, eyes, nose, tongue, and tail. The wolf was begging for mercy, promising not to do bad things again. After 2 hours, the wolf could leave the cottage, beaten, wounded, and above all, famished. After hearing the whole story, Grandma baked a very big delicious cake and called the animals of the forest to join them, amongst whom there were the big grizzly bear, the red fox, and the baby hippo. And now, the moral of the story is, if you have something delicious and don't want others to have it, let me keep it safe in my belly. Children should listen to their elders and take their advice. And if you want something, you just need to ask politely and never engage in wrongdoing to obtain it. That was all, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again.